Okay, let's go discuss some random shit or something. So, uh, right after War of 1812, Cotton just comes in like a fucking freight train, starts grabbing a hold of the American economy by the balls, and says, "I control you now." It became King Cotton. Like, it was, it was based on everything. It was based around cotton. Like this was driven by like mills being stolen from England because a guy named Lowell memorized all the blueprints for mills and took it over, and a guy named Eli Whitney making a cotton gin and like interchangeable parts and shit. It's fucking crazy. And then there's like coal-powered steam engines and shit powering mills, and then the South just becomes, there's this black belts of soil where the black belt of states where the soil was dark and it was really good to grow cotton there, and so all sorts of new places were growing cotton, and then in the north you have the mills expanding out from Lowell, Massachusetts, and then slavery as a result is also like just growing exponentially, shit ton. And I mean, it's slavery, man. It's pretty fucking shit. And there's also a lot of runaway slaves and slave revolts and other crazy ass shit. And it sucks. But it all wasn't so good in the north either, because in the north you got people being fucking miserable, working in factories, getting money. They thought they could be free from the farms, and then they just got put into factories, and then they couldn't go back to farms because farming was now a southern thing, and they got fucked over. Because at first the Lowell mills tried to be like all nice and cutesy for their workers and stuff, and they went like, but if we treat you like shit, we get more money faster, so you're fucking shitlords now. Haha, sucks. And also New York City becomes like the major port city where stuff gets traded from and shit and things, because it's a port, and it has port stuff, and it has port dock workers and crazy shit like that. And there's also like these things called packet ships that would trade shit on a schedule now, not just randomly trading shit. No, they go on a schedule from New York to Liverpool and back. It's crazy, man. And then also like banks were there. A lot of banks and insurance companies and shit. It's pretty crazy, dude. Oh yeah, and at the very end there's this Panic of 1819 that everybody blamed on the Bank of the United States. And even though it was really because of the fact that like America's making a shit ton of cotton, and there's kind of an overabundance of it. Okay. Now then, technology and other transportation shit. So, this guy named DeWitt Clinton went like, "I'm gonna build the Erie Canal," and other people were like, "How the fuck are you gonna do that? Nobody's ever done something like this before." And he's like, "But fuck you, I'm gonna make it anyway." And so he hired a bunch of contractors, and he made sure that everybody had a part in the canal, and he made sure that everything was made right, and then boom, there's a fucking Erie Canal, motherfuckers. Never expected fresh seafood in your fucking rural towns now, did you, motherfucker? Fucking oysters, fucking beautiful ass oysters. Never expected that shit, did you? Now you got it. Cause fucking Erie Canal, man. Crazy. Shipping is so much cheaper now. It's fucking insane. And also, like, steamboats became a thing now, so you could, like, go up fucking rivers, like, super fast and shit. And, like, roads were being built from the west to the north, but not to the south, because the south didn't like infrastructure, they didn't give a shit. And so, like, news was traveling around everywhere, and it was pretty fucking cool. And, because, like, travel time everywhere is slower, so, like, news gets around faster, and products get moved around faster, and more money's being made fucking live. And also, like, corporations start popping up because you want to have a lot of investors in a thing, so you can't fail as easily. And then you got banks financing those corporations with loans and shit. instead of just everybody individually financing everything and like risking everything and probably going to lose everything, it's a bunch of people investing money into a corporation where if like they lose, it's not too much, and so there's is a lot less risky or something like that. I don't know. I'm not an economics teacher. You ask, I don't know. Ask a guy in AP Eco. I don't know. I don't give a shit. And also, like, since we're all like doing factories and shit, working in mills and factories and shit, and we got like schedules and shit, so like the world's different. Like we're so much more busy, and we're like, and it's so much different than the previous like really fucking slow and boring world. Now we're in a fast world where everything's happening at a time at a set place, and you gotta be fucking ready to go, man. There's that book called Rip Van Winkle, and then like he noted that like everything was changed, and then you got political parties now, and it's fucking crazy, dudes. Absolutely insane. Oh yeah, and now we get to talk about those politics I was talking about earlier. So the Supreme Court went like, we can declare laws unconstitutional, and the state legislators like, our laws too, and they're like, bitch, fuck yeah, duh. And states like, so like if we try to nullify contracts, we can't. And Supreme Court's like, bitch, don't nullify contracts, don't make unconstitutional laws, don't try to do shit the federal government's supposed to do, because I'm fucking John Marshall of the Supreme Court, motherfucker. Does that happen? Shit by like McCulloch versus Maryland saying the National Bank can exist, and Dartmouth College v. Woodward saying that states can't nullify contracts, and Gibbons v. Ogden saying that states can't regulate interstate commerce because federal government's supposed to do that. Boost the federal government power. Boom. Oh yeah, and because like slavery's a thing, we can't exactly admit slave states into the Union without another free state, because we don't want to upset the balance of power in the Senate. And so like whenever Missouri wanted to become a slave state, like we were like, oh shit, we gotta do something. Oh, let's make a compromise. We'll get Maine in here too, and everything north of Missouri gets to become, or north of the 36 something line, the 3630 line, it's gotta be a free state unless it's Missouri. Right. And also in 1824, there was no political party but the Democratic Republicans, and so you got like these four dudes: Adams, John Quincy Adams, Andrew Jackson, some guy named Crawford who's not going to be important, and some guy named Henry Clay, that all try to run for the presidency. And so what happens is that Jackson gets the most votes but not a majority, Adams gets second most, Crawford gets third most, Clay gets fourth most. So goes to the House of Representatives. Clay knocked out because it's only the top three. Crawford suffers a stroke, so nobody cares about him. And then people like, oh no, Jackson kind of looks like a little Napoleon over here. He's like a military dude. I'm scared of him. And then Clay's just like, everybody, since I'm the Speaker of the House, I say we should vote for Adams. And so the House of Representatives votes Adams to be president. And then Martin Van Buren and Andrew Jackson are like, that's a corrupt bargain. What the fuck are you doing? I should have won the presidency, you fools. And then Henry Clay becomes the Secretary of State, so everybody's like, oh shit, he made a fucking deal, man. What the fuck? It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking crazy. And then with Adams and Clay, they tried to do like a bunch of shit that like the North wanted, but like the South and West didn't care about. So like, sucks. But they also made this thing called an American system that like boosted our economy, and it was pretty fucking cool. But here's the thing: political parties coming back, man. And so now you got like the people who used to support Adams and Henry Clay, and they became the Whig Party. And then everybody who was supporting Jackson eventually became the Democratic Party. Oh fucking boy. And then finally, eventually, Andrew Jackson becomes the President of the United States, and we're gonna fucking talk about him later. Whoa. Alright, good night. I'm gonna go pass out.